Hey everybody, Eezore here, and in this video I'm going to show you where all 7 locations are for the 7 Flanmeisters for the game Kingdom Hearts 3. Now you do need to actually do each one of these 7 things in order to get the achievement Flanmeister, but you do need to do a little bit more than that just to get other achievements as well, so we'll kind of get into that here in a little bit. This first one's going to be Olympus, and if you go to the Overlook save point and then go to the very top of the stairs, you will see this giant cherry with a crown. Once you interact with it, it'll summon the Flanmeister. This one's just a simple race. You have to get 20,000 score in order to be able to get the max high score, I guess you could say. And really all that does is it gives you an ability as well as 3 of the ingredients that the Flan gives you, not just 1. So definitely want to go for that. You do also need to get the high score for all 7 of these in order to get and a synthesis ingredient in order to make the Ultima weapon, so you will be doing these quite a bit. Now, like I said, this first one here is a race. All you gotta do is just get to the finish. You have to get 20,000 points. You get points just for keep moving, I guess you could say. If you stop moving, you do end up finishing the course early, so try not to hit too many things. There's no multiplier, there's no nothing, it's just as simple as hitting as many flans as you possibly can. You do eventually get to a wide open area that has more than enough of them, so just kind of keep trying. It will take a couple of attempts on this one. Now I'm going to mention too, if you're looking for a specific one, I'll have timestamps in the bottom just saying where each one's going to be, so go ahead and check those out if you're looking for one in particular. Now, as I had said, there are rewards for doing this. You do need to have, they each have 2 different high scores. One will give you just 1 ingredient, and the second one will actually give you 3 of the ingredients as well as an ability for Sora, so you'll know when you get the high score, the good high score, when you actually get the ability with 3 of the ingredients. The big flan will also end up jumping up and down, which you'll see here in a second. Like I said, if you see the flan do this once you complete this little mini game, that means that you actually got the high score and not just a good enough score to get the ingredient. Again, you'll get an ability as well as 3 of whatever ingredient they're going to be. You know which ingredient they are just for the simple sake of what's on their crown. Now, this next one here is going to be in the toy box. If you go to the Galaxy area and you actually go to the 2nd floor, it's going to be in a little rest area. There's a couple of ingredients here too, so this one's kind of weird. You actually have to spin around with the teacup and keep stacking flans. It's overly not too bad. I think you only need to get about 15,000 in order to get the high score for this one. I had 17,000 and I got it with that. But what's weird is that you get points based on what size flan you throw up there. And there are a couple that are bigger that are floating around on balloons, so kind of aim for those. However, you need to be careful because some of the spots have a roof to them, or like that's where the 2nd floor is at, so it'll actually knock off your flans. So as you see here, I'm still gathering them, I'm still getting them, I'm still getting them. But in the end, I will end up coming into the center here where there's no roof and going towards it, and you'll see that even though I'm still picking up slime or flans, they're no longer according towards my record, so my record ends up staying the same. I didn't realize that at first. I ended up doing this one 2 or 3 times just because I thought I needed a higher score than what I actually got, but just be aware of that. You do need only 15,000 points, which is pretty easy to get. Avoid the flans on the balls, knock them off, but realistically this one will only take a couple of times to get through, so. Alright, next one's going to be in the Kingdom of Corona, and it's going to be actually if you go to the tower save point and go back through the tunnel to where you first started off in the world, there's going to be one for, you'll see it just sitting there in the side. This one's a little weird. What you need to do is you need to take 7 pictures, and they all need to be excellent status in order to do that. In order to do that, the flan that you're taking a picture of needs to kind of have some sort of interaction. The very first thing is if they're walking around, they will eventually stop and kind of do a little pose. That's how you know you get the excellent for that. The next one that I found, they kind of like float up trying to chase a butterfly, As long as you get them when they're floating up and towards the butterfly, that'll count as the excellent. There's going to be one up here that will have 3 animals on it. All it does is it'll strike a pose after all 3 animals are on it, and that'll count as the excellent for that. The biggest problem with this one is just that you will need to sit there and wait for a little bit because they don't necessarily always do the actions. You need to get 7 shots of excellent. You can't just have like 5 and it'll be good. You need to get all 7. So there are a couple extra flans lying around, but I just got these ones because they were the ones I noticed.
Let's see.
These 2 up in the tree here are a one-time thing. You have to get there. If you run past them and they do this, they won't appear again. You just need to take a picture of what they create, which is actually kind of funny. Then if I went up to the hill here and found these 5, I followed the one on the hill for a long time and he never did a pose. So that's why I decided to skip that one in particular and just go for this one. And for this one, just be careful because it will end up coming back and forth a couple of times. You have to wait for all 5 of them to strike a pose. So once you do the 7 photos, you will end up getting this one complete, so... Alright, next one's going to be in Monstropolis. This one's a little tricky to find. You actually have to go through the sliding section where you slide down the gate and then slide down with the doors and then jump down in order to avoid the electricity. Once you get to the platform, go through the door, then take a right and go through another door. There's a lucky emblem over here, and this one is behind there, so if you found all the lucky emblems, you'll have seen this one. This one's rather difficult. This was probably the hardest one for me, at least. What you need to do is you need to keep killing the small flans while staying away from the big flan. It'll keep like doing a little jump and try to eat you. The problem is that the lock-on will kind of change and all of a sudden you'll be attacking something and you'll jump into the big flan when he's jumping up. So this one just took me a couple of times. Big thing that I found is if you use thunder magic, it'll end up killing a whole bunch of them. I use the nano arms as well, just because I guess whatever the keyblade ability is, when it becomes it actually ends up making it really, really good for an AoE attack, so it was really nice for that sense. Like I said though, it shouldn't be too hard, just take a couple attempts on this one, just be careful with everything. And as you see here, once I do the nano arms, I end up just using its ability right away, and that will give me enough points. This one is 20,000 high score, so you do need to get quite a few for this one. And this one, like I said, took me quite a few attempts, so... Alright, next one's going to be in Arendelle, and here you go to the North Mountain, and if you look to the left of the palace itself, you will see like a little, it's kind of a faded section on the map, and you can actually see it down below. You'll see the helmet here. So you need to make sure to jump down and just come down here. You'll start falling pretty quick, so it's a pretty easy find. You just need to make sure that you see it. This one's pretty difficult because you actually need to end up killing so many in order to get 20,000 points, and this one gave me some trouble again, but not as much as the banana one. You get points every time you hit them, and you get a lot of points for defeating them, so just keep moving and keep hitting things. Again, thunder magic will really help you out here. It said you can block their magic and send it back at them. I hadn't been able to do it. You do need to be careful too, because you'll end up activating, if you jump on top of their little slime pools, you'll start sliding towards them, and that just slows you down, because then you're stuck grinding on it, so to speak, and it just is kind of frustrating. Now, besides Thunder Magic, the Wheel of Fate Keyblade was probably, at least in my opinion, one of the best keyblades for AoE attacks, so you definitely want to make sure that you keep using that for that, because it's really nice to use for it, so. And in all honesty, once you get it to the second form and you get the Storm Flag, as long as you use its Leviathan attack, I ended up getting pretty much all the points I needed right from that attack, because it counts every single attack that hits things. Plus you get it because they keep spawning and they keep moving. It was pretty sweet. Let me know in the comments below if you were able to block their magic. I tried a couple of times and just failed. I don't know if I was just bad at timing, which I am, or if it was just the game itself. So by all means, let me know what you guys were able to get done.
Back off! Back off! Dream! Back off!
Alright, next one's going to be in Port Royal, for the Pirates of the Caribbean one. It's actually going to be in the fort itself, and it's in just the wide open area. Again, there is a emblem, a lucky emblem that's right above it, so when you find them all for that, you will end up seeing this guy just sitting there. This one's kind of like a Space Invaders. They all start flying towards you. There's 4 cannons. There's a bell in the middle that if you hit it, it'll all fire all 4 cannons at once. Just going to use that as an emergency thing. I didn't know what it did at first. This one only took me 1 attempt, so it was pretty good. Pretty quick and easy. I actually kind of like this one. This one was pretty awesome. If you're having any troubles with this one, also aim for the big one that's flying in the background, because it'll make a big AoE splash that will end up killing anything in the area. So again, this one shouldn't be too bad. Just watch it. I think it's about a 30-second recharge on the bell, so you should be able to get at least a couple of shots in with that if you get in trouble. One thing I was going to mention too for this, one of the reasons why you're hunting the Flans besides just the achievement is the fact that you actually need to get all the ingredients in order to get another achievement called Cornucopia. And for that one you need to get every single ingredient, and these are the only ways to get these specific ingredients, so you need to make sure to get these all done in order to get that achievement as well. As well as you're going for the high score on these as well, simply because you need to get the high score on all of them in order to get first off a piece of equipment, which is whatever, it's alright. But then also you need to get it for the synthesis material in order to make the Ultima weapon as well. Alright, this last one here is going to be in Sanfranoyko, and this one is kind of, I don't say tricky to find, but it's right next to a couple of lucky emblems, so you'll see those there too. It's going to be at the night section, and it's going to be right next to a save point. I forget which one it was. I think it was the South District. I don't actually remember which one it was, to be honest. I apologize. But it's going to be in the lower left corner of the map. You actually have to climb the towers right next to it, and then you'll end up going over to this one here that's got it's just a flat top at the very top of it, and you'll see the watermelon at the very top. This one was by far the most annoying of them. It didn't take very many attempts and it wasn't too bad overall, but you need to jump on the Flans heads in order to be able to get points, and you need to keep jumping around. If you jump on the same Flan twice, as you see, once you jump on them they start trying to eat you. If you fall on top of them, they will end up stopping the mission, so to speak. However, after you hop on them, after a little bit of time happens, they'll see them that they're actually glowing, and that'll actually make you go to the next section. The tricky part with this one is kind of just the timing of the jumps, but also the game 3 times actually it would switch from just the normal falling mechanic to the I don't know what to say, the longer falling mechanic, but it's the one where you start gliding and you're able to do it, and that makes you go from, hey, you can pretty easily control where you're falling, to, hey, you really don't get much control, you don't know exactly where you're gonna fall, and it's kind of always moving forward a little bit. So a little tricky in that aspect, but just keep moving around. You get more points if you jump on the glowing Flan, which is the one, again, after you jump on it a little bit of time, it'll start glowing again, and that'll jump you to the next section. So you can either jump onto the next section right away and just keep hopping and get those mega points, or you can take your time and just keep jumping on one to another. Again, once you start gliding, that's where you run into the issues, because it just ends up screwing up a lot of timing. So that's going to be all of them though, so hopefully the video helped. If it did, go and give it a like. If you like other game related content, consider subscribing. That's kind of what I do. Let me know what you guys thought was the toughest one. Again, I thought that the banana one gave me the most trouble, but the one that I hated the most was by far the Sanfranoyko one, just because it was so slow and very, very annoying in the with the jumping and falling mechanics. So that's what all I got, guys, though. So thank you all for watching. I've been Eezore. Until next time, keep your story going.